The Maestro.
Dirty.
Shots!
Why?
This is cool. Let it go.
How about you hold it?
There's a lady in the
Yo,
She got
welcome
legs
to
in
my
my
dirty
veranda.
shorts. Whew. Get to hit a window. Yo, fam. Hey, how's everybody doing? Look, I know normally this is a spot where we get to talk about the player of the tournament and that kind of thing, and obviously won't be doing that till the end of the Last Dance. Here's our reality though, and it's my reality. So I'm gonna start off this short by apologizing. And the apology is gonna go like this. We've just added some more people for the media team that are focusing on prep. You've seen some of the Max Prep articles this week. Those were not me. Those were the new writers that are coming on board. And they are really digging in. They're catching the gaps that I was missing or didn't have time to do. I've been so focused on the players and stuff like that are obviously playing from week to week and looking at potential places where they can go, what they need to work on, that kind of thing. Because I've been, personally, even though as a media person, we're not supposed to be vested into being biased about one particular player or two particular players. Well, I'm just get it out the way. You guys know Maestro already. I'm for all y'all. So that's just what it is. I know it don't come across like that sometimes, but I'm for all y'all. Because I see the talent there and I just want to see you guys move forward. But don't blame SimWorld Home Office. Don't blame SimWorld Admin. The fact that there was such a shortage of writing about the recruits was all on me. So, go on and, throw those stones over this way, not at them. But they rectified that. We now have some good people there. Also, the other thing I want to apologize for, and this is the people that I make fun of them sometimes, but I don't really get into depth about what they're doing. And that's the coaches. The coaches who put together the schemes, who put together the work, to put together the teams, to do the recruiting, to put together the strategies, all those things. I have not spent enough time talking about them. And for that, I am truly sorry. As I was kind of looking at it, when the new people got added, I was looking at what I'd been doing, and I went back and revisited some of my old topics. You guys know I have all those notebooks, right? And I said, man, I didn't really talk about as many coaches as I thought I should have or I could have. So that's just a total ball drop on Maestro's part. I sincerely apologize for that, and I want to start making up for that. So this is a two-parter. This is about the coaches, some of the coaches that are in the Last Dance, and in typical Maestro fashion, I'm not going to go after the top coaches and the people. That guy who's leaving for SimWorld U, Coach Overtime. You know who you are. Stand up. Also, some of the other coaches that I've actually done articles with and interviews for. So I've done a little bit, but not as much as I could have. I want to focus on the coaches right now that I think have done something really special this season and give us a chance to look at what they've done. So here we go. One of the coaches I spoke about them, Coach K. McMillan of the Yacht Club. You're talking about a team that's got it first in assists and first in offensive rebounds. And what I love about McMillan's strategy is the ability to incorporate the transition game at every stage, right? Transition game comes off the shot. Transition game comes off of the rebound. Transition game comes up even when they're stopped and put in half court. Coach schemes the floor open, and then using back cuts and ball movement as well as player movement, off-ball player movement, which means you guys know what it means. He's still able to replicate that transition game, and that's huge at this particular level because it gives It gives the team an opportunity to always be in motion. So when they have to be in motion, if they have to make up points, if they have to put themselves in a position to come back, which what they did. Coach won two tournaments this season: the Battle in the Bayou and the Heritage Youth Classic, right? So that's not light, man. Well done. But most of that is due, obviously, having called both of those tournaments. They were always down, and they always got back in the game by not panicking, by moving forward, and sticking to their scheme. And that just tells you more about coach's vision and coach's plan in terms of what he sees in terms of moving his team forward. Another coach that I don't think hardly got any play this season, again on me, just get it out the way, and that's Coach Casey Mitchell of Rocky Mount. And I'm going to tell you why I'm probably the most impressed with Coach Mitchell. Okay, so they're tops in defense, which Maestro loves him some defense. And even though they're in the bottom in scoring, that's a fixable cure. What is most impressive to me about Coach Mitchell's work this season is he's had multiple players get triple doubles. I believe he's had 10 players with triple doubles this season. What does that tell you? That tells you that the ball is always moving, that there's always content on the floor in terms of his scheme and how he positions his offense, no matter what type of offense he's facing, whether it's man, zone, or whatever. And it also tells me that he's a sniper when it comes to that transition game, and we see that we actually see that when Rocky Mount played this season. They didn't always push for the transition game. They did not always try to get out on the push, so to speak. But when they did, they were effective because they targeted those moments, and that's why their field goal percentage was so high. Coach's awareness to know as something that I hear my colleagues say this a lot. You play the hot hand. You play the hot hand. Well, the hot hand, as what Coach Mitchell realizes, is not always who's scoring, but it's who's passing, who is playing defense, who's on the boards. And to me, that shows a three-dimensional awareness of what a team needs to do. And the fact that he's had so many players get that elusive triple double tells me that he recognized that in game, in the moment, and pushes forward to that. So that, to me, that's probably one of the most awesome feats and of this season. But more importantly, to me, it shows you that his basketball acumen and awareness and his fluidity of thought when it comes to the tactics of the game are just top shelf. So well done, Coach Mitchell. And lastly, for this part, we'll talk about the AT Aliens Marcus Wood. Now, there are a lot of things that I've said about them before. They need to turn offensive rebounds into points, and by my calculation, looking at their season average for offensive rebounds, if they score, again, the metric you go by, base metric you go by, half of your offensive rebounds should turn into points. So for every offensive rebound should represent 1 point. They would have scored a little over 67 points per game. And that would have put them in the top 10 of scorers this season. And it's easy for somebody to sit back and say that, right? It's easy for somebody to sit back and make that statement and say, well, Coach Wood should, or Coach Wood should, or Coach Wood should. But let's look at what Coach Wood has done. He was able to, Coach not only kept the team together in terms of their focus, but they never lost their strategy throughout the season. Obviously, Coach Wood focused on teaching. He focused on the development of players. Now, to the person who's looking from the baseline of it, they might want to say, well, we want to see more wins. And there's nothing wrong with that question. There's nothing wrong with that critique. But look at how Coach Wood goes about the structure of the team and I just want you to just think about this for 1 second. Whether they were winning, whether they were losing, whether they were in a good stream or a bad stream, did you ever feel like the AT Aliens were a team that you could just overlook? And the answer is no. You don't overlook anybody in SimWorld Prep, but his teams are always at that point, at the cusp of being dangerous. What does that tell you? Just because you're good doesn't mean you win every game, right? Just because you're bad doesn't mean you lose every game. But when you're thought of as formidable, no matter when you're met, that tells you that his scheme, his structure theme for his team, and when you look at when you go back and review his games this season, on the outside looking in, what do you see? You see a team that has quick ball movement. They were definitely perimeter dominant in a lot of ways. The one thing that I would say is they were more dominant. Well, I guess depending on who's on the floor, they were more dominant to the left side of the floor, but that means a lot of back cut movement was going on the other side, and they got a lot of scores off that, and they did not pull themselves out of that. So what that tells me is, even as the other teams looked at them and they would say, okay, we know we know the AT Aliens are going to set up this particular way. His scheme was so strong that they were still managing to get buckets in the paint and get buckets off the boards because they had a lot of back court offset court action going on, which tells you about sticking with your principles, knowing what works for you, knowing what you have to do to get forward, and doing that. So well done, coach, and looking forward to see what you're going to do in the tournament. And we're going to hang out. We're going to be tough. Tell me, again, I got a second part coming. We're going to talk about some other coaches. But you know what? Holla at your boy. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know how you want to think about it. Let me know how you want to talk about it. Let's take a look at these coaches. Tell me some things that you saw from them this season. And you know what? We like to talk up. Talk about your boy, too. My lack of talking about coaches from before this, that's never going to happen again. That's going to get replicated. Me promise. All right, family. Y'all know the deal. Never let Jason Bourne borrow your car.
Oh, wait, you want me to read?
Thank you again for checking out the Maestro's Dirty
Shorts.
Is it last call? Oh. Have you seen my glasses?
Drop a tag below and give us a piece of your mind.
The Maestro. Durty.
Shorts.